Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. I'm Laura, I'm a hairstylist, and I'm dedicated to giving you the best tips and tricks so that you can make every day a good hair day. So I recently made some content on hair toners. One video was teaching you 5 steps to formulating your hair toner, and the other was a demonstration of me toning my own hair. But now I want to take the time to answer your top questions regarding hair toners, from what they even are, if they're actually necessary or not, and in what instances where they may actually be pointless. Now I know that this video might end up getting kind of long, so I'm going to divide it up into chapters that you can pick through and find the answers to your questions in the description below. Alright, so first of all, what even is a hair toner and what does it do? How is a toner different than regular hair color? So toners are a semi or demi-permanent color that are used to deliver the tone to the hair. This is the shade of your hair color, and it can be warm, cool, ashy, beige. Now keep in mind that this has nothing to do with the level of the hair, and the level is the lightness and darkness of your hair color. So when you're highlighting the hair or using bleach to strip hair color out of the hair and you're going lighter, bleach does not add tone to the hair. All bleach will do is remove color, which is exposing the underlying pigment in your hair. And the underlying pigment of all hair is warm. This is why after bleaching, you're left with a yellow or an orange tone. So in order to get the color that you desire, we have to go back in and add tone to the hair. So this is essentially toning the hair to the shade that we want after we've already lifted it up with bleach. Now, traditional hair colors as well as high lift colors lift and tone in the same process. Bleach does not do that. Bleach will only lift the hair color and you have to go back in and add a toner. All right, the next question is what developer is used with a toner? So toners are normally used with a demi or semi-permanent developer. This is a lower volume or a lower strength developer than what's used with permanent hair color. Typically, a demi-permanent developer is a 1.5% peroxide mix. This is also considered around 6 volume. Now, all lines are different when they label their demi-permanent developer. Pravana labels theirs as 0 lift. Other lines, they call it 6 volume. I've seen other lines call it 7 volume. Just know that this is a lower developer than 10 volume, which is one of the more common permanent color choices. It's important to note that you need to use a lower volume than 10 volume developer, or else you risk altering the hair permanently, and that changes it from a demi-permanent to a permanent color. All right, the next question is, do toners lighten the hair? And the answer to this is no. It's very important to note that a toner will never lighten your hair any further. It will only deposit color down. Now, it's pretty amazing what a toner can do for the hair, but it will never take the color any lighter than it already is. So if your hair has lifted to like an orangey level 6 or 7, you need to understand that you can't put a level 10 ash over that and expect it to cover, because it won't. You're gonna need to tone down to a level 6 with a blue violet to cancel out that orange. If you put a level 10 over a level 6, nothing is gonna happen. So if you've ever applied a toner and it seemed to do nothing to your hair, you need to reconsider your formulation. Go back and see what level did you lift to and what level do you need to deposit to. Okay, next question is how long do toners process for? And this is dependent on the brand that you use. Some toners process as quickly as 5 minutes, while others can take up to 30 minutes. Typically, when I'm applying a darker toner more at the root, I'll process those for 20 minutes. But when I'm doing an all-over blonde toner, those typically won't take as long and are normally express toners that can be done in as little as 5 minutes. Okay, so next is how long do toners last in the hair? So this answer is really dependent on the condition of your hair. When your hair is damaged, the cuticle or the outer layer of your hair is broken, roughed up, and sometimes even missing. This cuticle resembles fish scales and it opens and closes. And the purpose of this layer is to protect the inner layers of your hair. If this layer is damaged or even missing, hair color as well as moisture is gonna have a hard time staying trapped in the hair. So when the hair is damaged, hair color will fade much quicker than if it is healthy and smooth. When the cuticle is healthy, those outer layers are laying down closed and flat, and hair color will last in it much, much longer. And another factor that determines how long the toner will last is what color you're using. If you're using a pastel or a very light, iridescent, silvery color, it's going to fade much quicker than if you're using a darker and brighter color. Some toners will fade within just a few washes, while others will last for months even. Typically for my clients, I always like to do their toner a little bit deeper and darker than what we really wanted, just so they would get a little bit more longevity out of it. Now, you may choose to have your toner refreshed after anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, but this is only if you can't maintain it yourself with purple shampoo or other color toning shampoos. Now, there are some things that you can do to avoid your hair color from fading quickly, and I'm gonna link a video above for some tips on that. Okay, now let's talk about some other names for toners. In the hairstylist world, a toner is the most common and most used term, but I'm sure you've heard other names for toners like gloss or glaze, just to name a few. Now, some color lines may call their toners glazes or glosses because it makes it sound like it's going to add more shine to the hair. And they may have additives in their toners that do help deliver more shine and seal the cuticle a little bit better. But for the most part, they all do the same thing, no matter if you call it a gloss, a glaze, or a toner. Some other words for toners are referring to a darker toner that's used for a specific purpose, like root smudging. Root smudges are toners that are applied at the root to blend the natural color into the lighter color. This is done with a darker toner that will marry the two colors together. This can be called a root smudge, a root tap, a root shadow, a root melt. For the most part, they all mean the same thing, but something like a root tap is going to be just tapping the roots, while a root shadow or a root melt is going to be pulled a little bit further down. Again, these are still toners. They're just darker toners than something that you would put on your blonde ends. Typically, when you use a root smudge, you're also going to use another toner to marry it all together. Okay, and next, what is a pre-toner? So a pre-toner is essentially a second toner that you apply before your other toner. These are often used in corrective color services. If you have a color that you need to cancel out, you may opt to cancel that out first with a pre-toner before applying your actual desired shade. This is normally when you're combating something really stuck in the hair, like going from a bright red to blonde. You're gonna need to cancel out that red pinkish color with a green-based color before applying your tone of blonde that you want. Now let's talk about if toners are always necessary or not. And the short answer to this is no, they're not. Most of the time when you are using bleach and lightening the hair, you are going to need to use a toner. But again, this is not always the case. Several years ago, before I started using high lift on my blondes, I used to use bleach. And because I'm naturally pretty light, my hair always lifted to a really clean level 10 blonde. Because of this, I found I didn't need to use a toner on my hair. I was able to get by just by using a purple shampoo, which technically purple shampoo is a form of a toner, but it's not mixed with any developer. So we're not gonna group those in the same category here, and we'll talk more about purple shampoos later on. I'm gonna add a picture of my previous hair here that was lifted with bleach and no toner was used other than purple shampoo and conditioner. So if you get really good lift with your blonde, you may find that you don't need to use a toner. I had many clients that lifted really nicely, and they actually preferred the raw lift that we got from the bleach rather than if we put a toner on it. So I had many clients that I didn't tone at all. And when it comes to brunettes, a lot of brunettes that get their roots colored often like to refresh the ends of their hair with a toner during their root coloring service. There may be instances where you actually like the color that your hair has faded to, and you don't always need to put a color over that. Sometimes the color that's a little bit lighter that it's faded to is often really pleasant. All right, next question is, how much do toners cost to get done in the salon? Now, this price will vary widely depending on your stylist as well as how your stylist runs their services. A lot of stylists will include the cost of the toner in with their blonding services, and this is what I prefer to do. But others will add it as an extra charge. Now, a typical toner is around $30 to be added on to your service, but it can cost more depending on what needs to be done, like if you need a root smudge or if you need a pre-toner as well. Personally, I always included my toner price into the overall cost of the blonding services. This is because 90% of the time I needed to use a toner on my clients. This just made it easier for everybody, and I was able to do whatever I needed to do to get them to their desired shade. Now, if you're going to the salon solely for a toning service, it's likely going to cost more than $30. And this is because you're taking up a little bit more of the time. If you're going in for the highlighting service, you're already getting blow dried and shampooed. Whereas if you're going in just for a toning service, that's taking up a little bit more time on its own. Me personally, if somebody wanted to come in just for a toning service, I charge $70 because it took up quite a bit more time than if it was just added on to the already highlight service. Most of the time in this instance, I would actually throw in a haircut while they got their toner just to make it a little bit more worth it. Okay, next question is, are toners damaging to the hair? In short, toners are really safe to use on your hair without risking damage. While developer is being used and that is going to open up your cuticle a little bit, it is a very low level of developer and it's not going to open it up enough to cause any significant damage. Now, there have been many times where I've had a client come in that wants a lighter and brighter blonde, but their hair was extremely damaged. In this instance, I would typically opt to tone their hair only to give them a brighter blonde, but without damaging their hair further with bleach. Toners can actually make the hair feel softer and a little bit healthier because they actually close the cuticle and make it really smooth, which decreases frizz. This not only is neutralizing the unwanted tone, but it's also going to add shine to the hair. All right, next question is, do toners contain ammonia? And this is actually a great question. For the most part, toners do not contain any ammonia. And that is in fact one of the key indicators that separates a toner from a traditional hair color. Typically, the more ammonia that is in the hair, the more lift you're going to get. For example, the differences between traditional hair color and high lift hair color is that high lift color contains extra ammonia so that the hair can lift higher. Toners do not lift the hair at all. They are strictly deposit only colors, so they usually do not contain any ammonia. And I've actually never seen a toner personally or worked with one that does contain ammonia, but that's not to say that there's not some out there that do have it in it. This is also another reason as to why toners are not as damaging to the hair, because they don't have as much ammonia. All right, the next question is, what does a toner do to brown hair? Now, this is obviously dependent on what toner you're using, but let's say that you have brown hair with blonde highlights and you're wanting to tone those blonde highlights. You can go ahead and throw the toner all over your whole hair because a light toner, let's say a level 8, 9, or 10, is not going to affect the darker colored hair. It will not do anything to it. Now, if you do want to tone your brown hair, you can still do that. You just need to use a darker level toner. The toner will only show up if it is darker than the color that the hair currently is. So if your hair is a level 5 and you want to tone it a little cooler instead of a more warmer reddish hint, you're gonna need to tone a level 5, or in my opinion, I would go with a level 4 ash color to cancel out the unwanted red. All right, now let's talk about at-home toning products. Now, when I'm referring to at-home toning products, I'm not talking about toners that you mix with a developer like we've talked about this entire video so far. When I'm referring to at-home toning products, I'm referring to things like purple shampoo. Now, these products are actually really great at toning the hair, and as I mentioned earlier, you can often get away with not using an actual toner and only using these at-home products. So first you've got purple shampoo, and purple shampoo can come in a number of different strengths. Olaplex is the strongest one that I have used thus far, which I actually prefer to use a stronger one because you can dilute it down if you choose to. But if this is too strong for you, you can always try out different brands and find one that you really like the shade of. Next up, we've got blue shampoo for brunettes. Now, it's important to note that blue shampoo is only for brunettes and it should not be used by blondes at all. If you have blonde in your hair and you use a blue shampoo, your hair is possibly going to turn green, depending on how much yellow you have in it. Because blue and yellow make green, this is not ideal for anyone with blondes. That being said, if you're a brunette that has unwanted red or orange tones in your hair, a blue shampoo can be really great to help you neutralize that color and keep an ashier tone regularly without needing to go to the salon. Another option are color toning shampoos and conditioners. And when I'm referring to these, I'm talking about actual colors, not just removing unwanted warmth from the hair like a purple shampoo or a blue shampoo. I'm talking about actually depositing a color into your hair. You can get these in a variety of different colors, from natural colors to fantasy colors. And these have been incredible for people that get bright colors done at the salon so that they can maintain their hair at home without having to worry about it fading and needing to go back to get it touched up. I actually recommend these color toning products to people that are trying to grow their color out. Particularly if you're trying to grow blonde hair out and go back to your natural color, you can use one of these color toning shampoos or conditioners to mute down your blonde and blend it in with your natural color until it grows out. All right, guys, those are your top questions regarding hair toners and how they work. Leave me a comment if you have any other questions or if there's anything I missed. And make sure you subscribe if you want to make every day a good hair day. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon.